All right, welcome back, AP Language and Composition. We're going to pick up where we left off with our synthesis essay. At this point, everyone should have a thesis with 3 points, and you should have a rough draft of your introduction. Today, the only thing that we're going to work on are our first 2 supporting paragraphs, and I'm going to demonstrate with my example essay how to write a supporting paragraph. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my thesis sentence, which is the last sentence in your introduction. And mine is, the educational system in America is vastly different from the small country of Jamaica as a result of the teacher versus student relationships, the opportunity to attend school, and the no class ranking system as a result of the majority of students already at the top of the class. One of the things that you may have noticed is that behind each of the points that I put for my thesis, I put the last name of the author. And that's because as I was preparing to complete my paper, I realized that I needed to make sure that I had some evidence to back up what I was saying. So I did have to go back, review the articles, and then I found different points. And just to help me remember where I got the points from, I put the author's last name behind each of the points that I make in my thesis. Okay, so today what you're going to be working on is you're going to need your essay, obviously, that you've shared with me, and then you're also going to need the outline. If you do not have a copy of the outline, go to Google Classroom. It's on there. You're going to go to numerical 2, where it says support first reason supporting your thesis on your topic. So you need 8 things in order to complete the supporting paragraph. You need your topic sentence. Here's an example of mine right here. In the topic sentence, it says choose one concept word from the last sentence of your previous paragraph and use it again in a different way in the sentence. So remember, your thesis statement is the last sentence in your paragraph. And the first thing I talk about is the teacher versus student relationship. So that's what I'm going to start my paragraph off with. So here's my topic sentence. Teachers are one of the most highly respected careers in Jamaica, resulting in very little classroom issues that plague most American classrooms. The relationship between teachers versus student is clear. The teacher is the authority, the student is a subordinate. So that covers sentence number 1 with a little bit more. The next thing you're going to do is write a sentence using a quote from one of your sources that supports your idea. Embed the quote or introduce it. Do not dump it into your paragraph, and I'm going to explain that to you shortly. So here's an example. Koyoki Mori said it best in her article, School, which she stated that you can never question the authority of the teacher. The teacher is like the biblical God whom you cannot name. As a result, teachers in Jamaica have very little classroom issues. Students come to school every day prepared and ready to learn. Homework is completed, notes are taken, students give teachers their full attention. In most American classrooms, students have the autonomy to question what they are learning and not be penalized for it. Okay, so that's covering number 2. It's also covering number 3 and number 4, because when you introduce evidence such as a quote in your essay, you have to make sure you explain it. So number 3 and 4, write a sentence of commentary explaining how this supports your thinking. Number 5, write another sentence using a quote from one of your sources that support your thinking. So I go on to include in here, a teacher's authority is backed up by a higher order that not even parents can intervene with because of the pedestal that teachers are placed on in Jamaica. In the United States, we place a higher value on a lawyer and doctor over a teacher. In Jamaica, a teacher is at the same ranking of a doctor and lawyer. In dealing with behavioral issues, parents are not contacted because the teacher has the full authority to deal with any behavioral issues in any manner that they desire. As a result, this leads to very little disturbances or disrespect to the teacher inside of the classroom. So that covers number 5, quote, number 6 and 7, where I add commentary behind it, which is explaining what I'm thinking. And the last thing that you want to make sure that you have in your supporting paragraph is You're going to write a concluding sentence using one of the concept words from the topic sentence in the sentence. So my last sentence is, unlike in the American classrooms, students flourish because of the teacher versus student relationship inside of the classroom. Done. Okay, so again, remember, in your supporting paragraph for your sentences essay, you want to have at least 2 quotes. You want to make sure you explain how that quote supports your focus for your thesis.